Hi there. Thank you for coming and finding us and tuning in. In the spirit of our Paris takeover week, I thought I would do a quick little video just to show you some examples of the threads from Soie. This is, I suppose, what you'd call a haul video because I'm going to show you bits and pieces that you can buy in the shop. And then shortly I will put up another video that will have more a tutorial of how to use the different threads, and it will show you how they look when they are actually stitched. So just wanted to say a quick hello, thank you again, and stay tuned. Kicking things off, they have 7 types of silk thread at Soie, really 7 of their most specialty. There are a couple kind of other ones like a chenille and a wool and things, but when you think of kind of the classic Soie threads, there are 7 different types. And this one that I have in my hand here in Pipois brand colors, of course, is the Soie d'Alger. And the d'Alger refers to a process of how they create the thread, rather than some people think it might refer to Algeria, but it doesn't. The Soie d'Alger is probably the thread they're most known for. It's the easiest of their threads to find, I think, if you're shopping in the marketplace. You can see it's incredibly soft and very lustrous from the silk. And it comes in a huge array of colors, which I can show you. It's a stranded silk, so much like a DMC cotton. It comes in strands, as you can see here, that you can separate. There's, I believe, 7 strands to the Soie d'Alger, and in that way, it's very wonderful to work with because you can get a variety of different thicknesses, just as you can with the DMC cotton. The difference, of course, being that it's silk, and so you get all the properties of silk, including this just amazing luster that you can see here as I play with the thread a bit. And it does come in a huge array of colors. I actually have an example of their color book here. So this is the full Soie d'Alger color card, and I'm just gonna show you, even though it's not really technically part of a haul from the Soie shop, it is relevant to what we're talking about now, just so you get a sense. If you were to go and buy Soie d'Alger threads, you could get a sense of all the colors that they come in, because it's an enormous selection. I wish I had an exact number in front of me now, but it's certainly in the hundreds. And so each page has these kinds of the thread examples on them, and they painstakingly create this book, even helping you with different tones and the color families, and so on and so on. So we get into some blues and browns and oranges. So these are all the colors that the Soie d'Alger comes in, and if you check out my Instagram, you can see a photograph of a bunch of the colors all together too, which is a wonderful way to get a sense of just how many shades there are, and of course how subtle those shades are as well. So now I'm just gathering some threads from the Soie Perle range, and this is really much also like a pearl cotton that you would see from DMC. The Soie Perle is a twisted thread, so you can see it has that real twist look to it, and I'll just unravel a bit here so you can see that. And it's great for using in contexts where you want a bit more texture, or you're happy to have a bit more texture and you want some of the thickness that's generated. This also comes in a pretty wide-ranging color palette, not as wide as the Soie d'Alger. And I've just got a selection here. And it also comes on these beautiful old-fashioned bobbins. And this is just a couple of meters. I can't remember exactly how many, but it's just a couple of meters. And they also, there we go, 16 meters. but they make spools that have more meters on them as well. But here on this rose pink color, you can see the texture that comes through on it. And again, on the Instagram, you can see there's a photograph that has a good shot of the range of colors that this comes in. Their website is also terrific and has a lot of different information. And then similar to the Soie Perlée is the Soie Gobelin. And the Gobelin is also a twisted filament thread. So you can see it has that sort of texture and twist to it, you know, by contrast to the Soie d'Alger, which is the stranded, and it's loosely bonded together but separable. This is a twisted filament thread, and so you can see the difference here. This is a thicker thread, and that'll be more readily apparent when I do the tutorials, so you can see the different textures, and I'll put a photograph of that up on Instagram as well. And so then next up, I'll show you another filament thread. This is the Soie Ovale. So the Soie Ovale is like the Soie Gobelin, but it's not twisted. So you can see really next to each other how different it looks. And the Soie Gobelin is really, you know, if you take it apart, you can see the filaments are all sort of fairly loose. Be thoughtful in terms of how you're using it with your needle so that it doesn't become frayed as you're working with it. But what's lovely about it is that you get more of a kind of a natural, subtle look when working with it, because it doesn't have that high textured twist on it. And it's wonderful for things like silk shading, because the silks really blend together. It's more typical in the sort of Japanese style of silk shading. A lot of Japanese silks are that of untwisted filament silk. Then next up we've got a Soie de Paris, which is a bit like a Soie d'Alger, but it's finer. The threads are finer, and it comes in separable threads as well, but they're not as easily separated, and so you can work those together or separate. And finally we have the Soie 1003, which is a spun silk, and it's a relatively fine weight, so this may be used for sewing, certainly commonly used on machines. And then the even finer version of it, which is this surfine, and that is most often used in things like lace and couture work. Again, it's, you know, incredibly fine, often used on a machine, but can also of course be used by hand, and hence, you know, this kind of bobbin. They all can be used by hand or by machine, really. Soie. So we've got the Soie d'Alger, the Soie Perlée, the Soie Gobelin, Soie de Paris, Soie Ovale, the 1003, and the surfine. So that's actually 7 types. I think I'd said 6 at the start of the video. And then they do some silk ribbons, of course. So they do, here's a couple examples. It's difficult to, sorry with the glare here, but this is a 7mm navy blue, which I just thought was so beautiful because it's not a really easy color to find in silk ribbon. Here's another one in 4mm. So they do the sizes 7 and 4. I don't think they do other sizes than that. And this is that beautiful sort of champagne pink again in a 4mm, which I think is just a lovely natural color that would be beautiful on flowers that you'd see in the wild and things. As far as silk ribbons go, so it comes in 63 colors, as you can see here. So it's really a pretty broad range, and some of them are variegated colors and some are solids. So that gives you a little bit of a tour of our Soie threads. I hope that was helpful, and thank you for watching.